Hello, welcome to Have a Go, and I'm Alan. This is something I'm currently working on, a pattern that we're going to cast in that big flask that I showed you, but I'm still working on on this one. So I have to smooth in these inside parts and also change it from a flat here and divider into more of a angled shape so that it lifts out cleanly from the sand. I also have to smooth out the glue on the side, so that's a work in progress. However, today I thought I'd show you some parts I acquired today or this week, and parts that I inherited, I suppose. This is one of the first parts. It's a pulley. It takes a 20mm inner diameter for the spindle and 100mm on the outside to take a V-belt. This will be part of the drive system for the lathe. Came with an Allen key. These are a pair of step pulleys. The idea being that one will be mounted this way on the motor, so the motor will be turning this, then the other part goes in the opposite direction, and this will be in the headstock of the lathe. So the idea being that you can have the belt either go from this direction with a big one on the motor and a small one on the lathe to turn it really fast on the lathe, or you can move the belts down to this direction with them. It'll be slow on the motor and fast, opposite way round. Now hopefully these are supposed to be for a 20mm shaft. However, with this one I found it was more like 19.5mm. And I had to file the thing out so that it would actually fit a 20mm shaft. To make matters worse, the picture for these pulleys in the listing said that they had a set screw to put them on a shaft. So you put them on the shaft, tighten down the set screw so that it turns with the shaft. However, these have a keyway. The idea being that the shaft will also have a matching keyway. You put a bit of metal in, so the keyway keeps the pulley turning with the shaft. The problem being, I have no way of putting a keyway in a shaft. So I'm going to have to drill out a hole in here and tap it so that it will take a set screw so that I can actually use the things. And this is the final piece of the pulley puzzle. Now the motor on its own doesn't turn at the speed that I want, so this pulley goes directly onto the motor spindle, and there's a belt going from the motor to the counter shaft, which will have this pulley, with another step pulley attached to the counter shaft. And this will step the speed down at a ratio of 40 mils on this one to 100 on this one, so about 2.5 times speed reduction. That. And the final piece of the puzzle. This will be the motor for my lathe. There's a cap on the spindle here that I'm not going to take off. I'm also not removing it from the polystyrene because after I've done showing you, it's going back into the box, to keep it safe until I'm ready to use it. This is a 3/4 horsepower motor roughly 562 watts, and so it should be quite sufficient. So this pulley will go on here, going to this pulley, and this pulley will have a step pulley behind it, and from there will be another belt going over to the lathe just out of shot there. So putting the cart before the horse a bit in that I still have to make the things that this will go on to, but I'm looking forward to it. Right, now to put all this back into the boxes so they keep nicely. This was inherited not from my grandfather, but from my great-grandfather. It's a Stanley combined plough and beading plane. Trademark 45. This will be the plane itself, I assume. Very nicely made. There's all kinds of details in the castings there. A very narrow cutter on it. Another attachment for it. Cutters for Stanley plane. There's several different types. Not sure what this would be for. I imagine for sharpening, perhaps. A holder for sharpening the bits. This looks like a handle to put on the front of it to help you hold it better, I imagine. Bit of string, never go wrong with a bit of string. More cutters in the bottom of this. No idea what this would be for. This has got a little step in it, which I imagine is for fitting it to something. I don't know what. Also some lengths of steel rod in the bottom. A very old piece of yellow plastic. It feels like it would have been flexible back in the day. Time has long since hardened it. Ah, another cutter. Again a victim of time, because this is a very, very old plane. Stanley Rule and Level Co. New Britain, Con, USA. Presumably Con being a province in America. How does this all fit back in? So, new acquisitions and very old family inheritances. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing that. But for now, I'll get back to doing some sanding work on this and some prep work, which will be very, very boring. Thank you for watching. If you know anything about the parts in this combination plough and beading plane, let me know in the comments. I have a feeling it'll need a lot of care and attention with some evapor rust in the future. I'll have to get some. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.